Lots of sentiments there on the closure of the Ministry of Lands and, of course, the developments that we have seen today. Let's bring in Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Charity Ngilu. She's joining us on phone. Waziri, thank you so much for joining us on KTN Prime. Waziri, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Waziri, thank you so much for joining us on KTN Prime. You have been quite busy in the last couple of days, and of course you're looking at the audit and your statement today. What has this achieved, and essentially where do we go from here?
Let me say that the first great success that we have made out of our registry was just to reorganize the registry and to ensure that we can tell where files are, because over 1.3 million titles have all been misplaced, have been misplaced, put in the wrong place, and therefore whenever people sought for service, they could not get it. In the last 10 days, we have been able to retrieve as many of these as possible. We have been able to put them in the right place, and therefore we are very clear that services are going to be certainly improved, faster, more efficient, and also more professional. And talking to members of staff, they told me this is not something they liked very much. They really would have liked to see a more organized registry.
Waziri, so where essentially do we go from here?
Where we go from here, since now we have been able to key in to know what files we have, we will now start the digitization process of the ministry.
Waziri, stay with me because there is an interesting story that is being done by KTN's Ferdinand Omonde. He is our reporter at the coastal region. There are interesting views from residents there with regard to land. Kindly, if you don't mind, stay with us, because after we run that story, I would like you to speak to Ferdinand Omonde, because then he will be able to raise some of those issues that residents there have. You're watching KTN Prime. Let's continue with this discussion on land. Of course, in studio, I am joined by Odenda Lumumba from Kenya Land Alliance. Thank you for joining us as well on KTN Prime. What do you think of the audit at the Ministry of Lands today?
I think we have not had an audit. We have had the first step of dusting the files, and this is being done not on any sustainable manner. We must remember that this is not the first time we have been shown files being unearthed from hidden under desks or behind the shelves. We had this during 2012 by the former Permanent Secretary, Minister of Lands. Now we have a Cabinet Secretary coming up to say they have unearthed now to 1.32 million files. I think for me that's the first step. The question really is about land governance. Land governance in a sense that what we must be really seeing is policies, processes, and institutional mechanisms that manage land, property, and natural resources. This is a role that squarely was removed from the executive, and the principal agent of the executive, the former Commission of Lands. Squarely, it is placed in the hands of the National Land Commission. All
right, hold on to that thought. I was speaking to Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Charity Ngilu. I'm hoping she's still with me. Waziri, are you still with me?
Yes, Linda, I'm with you.
Thank you for staying with me. I'm speaking to Odenda Lumumba from Kenya Land Alliance, and we have been looking at the audit that has taken place over the last 10 days. He says this has happened before. We have seen this previously. What is so different about this one?
Yes, Linda, that is true. I don't know whether it happened before. I do know that some files may have been found in certain offices, but I'm being told that this has actually never happened before. To at least retrieve all the files, refile them, put them in the right rack. It's the first time, I can tell you, and all these people have been there with me during these 10 days when we have had to clean up the registry. However, this is just a first step towards not only reorganizing the registries, but ensuring that we can capture all this information in a digital way. Indeed, we need to do this electronic documentation management system so that you can get information on land from wherever you are. And we have started. Some of the services that we are able now to give, people can download at least some of these forms that we have been having in the ministry, where people have been coming and collecting them physically. They can now download them from our website.
All right, Waziri, this is just the first step. How sustainable then is this?
This will have to be sustainable because we don't leave it at that. We have already procured 2 funds that are going to start digitization now.
Waziri,
we just have to move.
Waziri, I apologize. I am having difficulty hearing you, understanding what you're saying. I am hoping my team can give you a call, and I'm hoping you can get a clear line than that so that our viewers can also get to understand what you're saying. I'm hoping my team can give her a call.
Yes,
they're giving you a call in just... Yes, they're giving you a call in just a few minutes. I'm hoping you can get a clear line because right now we are struggling to hear you, but thank you. Stay with us. Lumumba, you've had the Cabinet Secretary. Your thoughts on what she's just said?
I think we need to jog our minds. It is now over 1 year that with the donor assistance, we have been having a state of reorganizing those files. In the Nairobi Central Registry, we had the Swedish support to help do the registry. We have been doing the same in the Mombasa registry. We have been doing the same in Thika and Nakuru. Now, what the Waziri should be telling the nation is what progress have we made in these registries. And I think to say that this is the beginning, I think is being a bit economical with the truth. The other thing that I think we have also to be very careful about, and I think this should need to be understood, that for you to digitalize information on land, it requires a whole land information management system that basically will be able to digitalize what is on the file, but also to get the ground truthing. I think it is important to know that land has exchanged hands.
All right.
A file you have today might be telling us a story of an entity who died long ago and who shouldn't be on the register.
Hold on to that thought.
Is that information clear to the Kenyans?
But hold on to that thought. Let me cross all the way to the coastal region. And of course, the issue of land has been an emotive issue there.